Now then, hello. Apologies, another late one. They're gonna be late at the moment whilst the light nights are in, because the hedgehogs always come around now. So I've got to get them all fed just before they come. So, a late one, but it's on the replay. So if you want to come back and watch it later, you can. But I'm going to record this live. So if you are still up, excuse me. If you are still up and you're watching, then hello. We've got Nikki here and we've got Brum Vixen here. If you are in bed and you are watching on the replay, if you've got the replay crew, then please hit the like, sit back and enjoy the ride, because this is another really, really bizarre one. Now, this lady, she's only recently come into this, because this is why I was saying to you that the timeline will... Hello, Sing Blue Silver. Hello, Claire Bell. Let me know how my audio is, please, guys. Hello, Andrew. This is why my timeline is jumping about, because we were in a perfect... Hello, Bridget Blaine. We're in a perfect chronological order. And then we found more. Avogadro. I've not seen you for ages, apart from on Facebook. Hello, love. Bless you, my mom. So my timeline has got messed up now, okay? So there's going to be jumping backwards and forwards because we're finding more and more and more. Now, we haven't even touched the Chinese yet. They've just had 9 just be killed in the last couple of weeks. That's a whole new story. Hi, Carlos. So this episode, it probably won't be that long, but I've managed to find the original missing video from this lady. She went missing in 2023. Now, Lauren Conlin, who we were seeing clips from last night, she covered this recently as well. So we're going to watch some of her. And I think, if I remember rightly, Nancy Grace has also covered this. And I think she had somebody on. So we'll be watching a few clips of videos tonight. There's no body cam footage yet of when they went to see Ingrid's family. Hello, Lucy. Oh my God, I go later and more people come in. Interesting. Right, I'm just opening my can of pop. Hold on, it's really warm, isn't it? Well, it is. It is here anyway. It's stuffer, you know, stuffer. Oh, I didn't know you'd done that for me. Thank you. That's why. Oh, it's made me a cup of tea. I didn't know. Okay, so this lady here, Ingrid Lane. We're going to watch the first video of when she first went missing now, and then I'm going to give you... Can you hear the dogs? Hang on 1 sec. Boys. Boys. Can you hear them? Boys. Okay, so Ingrid Lane went missing. Now, she was also in the same area as who we talked about last night. And last night we covered General William Neil McCasland, and he went missing from Albuquerque. Now, Ingrid also, you guessed it, Albuquerque, the same area, the same mountainous terrain, vanished. And what is really weird about this one, which you won't know from this initial video, because this is when she first went missing, but we now know that she worked in nuclear science. She worked in lots of top secret programs. She worked in the Los Alamos lab, where we've had several go missing or killed already. And what is really weird about this one is she went to a retreat that she went to often. She was apparently a practicing Buddhist, and she was actually a musician as well. Now, the media at the time were really pushing this mental health thing with her, and she was brushed under the carpet as a civilian that went a bit mad and went missing. We looked at it again. There's more to this. Now, she went to this retreat for some peace and quiet. She'd only been there for 1 day, and she suddenly got up and left her friends and her husband and just went and drove off. Didn't make any sense whatsoever. Where they found her car and the state of the car leaves a lot to be desired. So we're going to watch the initial missing person local report from almost 3 years ago. So I'm quite happy I managed to find this. Here we go.
unprepared, they can be very, very dangerous. Tonight, there is growing concern for a New Mexico woman after she was last seen on a remote forest road in the Jemez Mountains. This missing persons case has some strange, unexplained twists, and now her husband is calling for help. Ryan Laughlin met with him this evening, and Ryan, he says he's concerned for his wife, to be blunt, I guess. I mean, he's not very optimistic at this point.
No, he's not. You might call him pragmatic, and that's how you describe Louis Scuderi. That's because his wife, who he says has some serious medical problems, has been missing for 3 weeks, and she was last seen in a very remote part of New Mexico. As the sun sets on this house in the heights of Albuquerque.
Yes, this is probably the most finished room in the house.
Louis Scuderi is still unpacking.
She got all the bookcases, so my office is absolute chaos.
He and his wife bought this home just 4 months ago.
How do you sum up a person, especially your life partner?
That person is Ingrid Lane.
On our first date, we played music together, and that was kind of it.
It was a first duet, not a dance, a year and a half ago when they got married at Ghost Ranch. But it's not love in the air anymore.
That keeps me up at night because that's awful.
It is grave concern because Lane was last seen 3 weeks ago.
It's not unusual for her to go without contacting anyone for a day. 2 days would be a little bit out of the ordinary. 3 was getting into, I'm extremely worried.
Lane, a practicing Buddhist, took off to the Zen Center in Jemez Springs on October 15th. Scuderi says he encouraged her to go. She had been struggling with sleep and her mental health.
And Ingrid is fantastic at taking care of others and incredibly generous, but not good at taking care of herself.
But 3 days without hearing from her prompted Scuderi to call the police. He says an Apple AirTag pinged and led investigators to her damaged car. It and a couple of hunters.
And they said, hey, we saw this woman, talked to her. She apparently flagged them down, said her car had gotten messed up. They helped her with a tie.
Anyone feel that this husband is acting? Is it just me? I've not seen this before. Genuinely, I haven't seen this video before. I found another one of her playing music with her husband, and I was going to show you that. And then I was going to read out all the information I've got and show you some articles, but I hadn't seen this. I've just seen it as I was setting up. I was like, oh, there's one there. So my initial reaction to this is he's acting. It's just, don't know, weird. It's not like a missing. Your wife's missing, and he's acting like he's giving a speech or something. He's using his hands. It's not. You wouldn't be like that, I don't think. After 3 weeks, I would be beside myself. I wouldn't be acting like this. This is just really bizarre. But what you're going to see now is the car. So we're going to go more into that after we've watched this initial report. But this car really does make no sense. It really does. Because they tried to say it was a boulder attack, but there's no dent on the roof. But let's continue watching this first.
And offered to give her a ride back down to the main road, which she didn't take. Said she was really determined to get.
We're going to watch this bit again, but watch his face. Honestly, I've never seen this before. So just go back a minute. So I'm going to just go back because they say that these 2 hunters seen her and asked her if she was okay. Now, she drove 100 miles in a different direction away from this place that she'd gone to, which makes no sense. Apparently, she went there often as a retreat, this Buddhist retreat, this Zen retreat. And only a day in, she just went. She just went, going now, I'm going, and just went. No explanation, literally like she'd been MK Ultra'd. Which people say, oh, it's a conspiracy. No, it isn't. It's real. We know this. It's proven. They've admitted it. It's like something clicked in her brain. Now, she worked on some really, really dodgy projects. One of them, direct energy weapons. Albuquerque is where General McCasland went missing as well. Just last night's show. But this lady went missing in October, the 15th of October, 2023. And only recently has she been linked with all the other missing scientists because the media played it down as a missing civilian. It's really, really... Do you know, when I was speaking to Gemini the other day, and I said, I've come across this lady, I gave the name and everything. Can you tell me a bit more about her going missing? She gave me this random story. And I said, what? No. And then she went, I says, no, look, she was a scientist. She's linked in with this cluster. And she went, then Gemini went, oh yeah, I made all that up. Like, they don't even want to tell me about it. Like, why would AI make that up? She actually said, I made that story up. Really weird. But yeah, so go back here. So he's going to tell us again about the car, because this is really important what he says about these two hunters. But anyone notice his actions and the way he's looking, and he just looks really dodgy to me. Unless he's done something to her and it's got nothing to do with the scientists. It could be that, or it could be that he's terrified because he knows that if he lets on what her job was, then he's curtains as well. It could be that he is absolutely petrified, and that's why he's acting the way he is. He's just acting weird in my eyes.
As he encouraged her to go, she had been struggling with sleep and her mental health.
And Ingrid is fantastic at taking care of others and incredibly generous, but not good at taking care of herself.
But 3 days without hearing from her prompted Scuderi to call the police. He says an Apple AirTag ping.
3 days. 3 days he didn't call the police. 3 days. One day it was a bit unusual. Second day, yeah, that's getting a bit weird now. Third day, I'm worried. What? And he knew she was at this retreat. And the people there would have contacted him. I'm pretty sure he went. He said he didn't go. I need to check this out, but you wouldn't wait for 3 days. I'm sorry.
And led investigators to her damaged car. It and a couple of hunters.
And they said, hey, we saw this woman, talk to her. She apparently flagged them down, said her car had gotten messed up. They helped her with a tire and offered to give her a ride back down to the main road, which she didn't take. Said she was really determined to get to the top of a mountain or a peak.
Her car had a spare tire on it. The back window was smashed, and a rock in the back seat, Scuderi says, might be from his front yard in Albuquerque. And
one very...
they've changed. Oh, this is interesting. I haven't seen this yet, have I? They're now saying, still say this is from when it first not long happened. They're now saying that it was a boulder attack, and the boulder was to landed and broke the back window. How does a boulder break a back window on a car but not dent the roof? He's saying the boulder's from their front yard. Interesting.
Detail is that they found a burner phone in her car, but still in its package, not opened, not activated.
Is that
burner phone
unusual?
That's a shock to me. That was a huge shock to me to find out.
A burner phone in the car, not activated. What the hell? And she had to get to Toppest Mountain. Now, if you're on your own and you see two men, I understand being scared when they say you want a lift. But if they look like hunters, they look like, you know, they help to change a tyre and everything. If they were going to do anything to her, they would have done it. And if you're on your own, but she was insistent she had to get to the top of this mountain. Why? Was it something coming to beam her up or something from the top of the mountain? I don't know. I just don't know. Just totally insane.
Those hunters on Sunday afternoon are the last people to see Lane. He says dozens of people have searched with dogs and drones, and they are certain she is not near where her car was found. A GoFundMe has raised more than $23,000 to hire a helicopter.
There's a lot of things that just don't make sense.
They're asking if anyone...
I can hear it's the hedgehogs munching next to me and under the bedroom window, and George in the living room playing. His eyes. Anyone notice his eyes? What the hell is going on here? This is so bizarre. Yeah, did she want a close encounter? But I can't keep a straight face because it's this little munching noise under the window. It's so bizarre, this is. Let's continue and then we'll get more up to date stuff.
Has seen Lane or can help solve this mystery.
It's been 3 weeks. There's not really a good end here, right?
What?
If we find her alive...
What? does he come across as an actor, or does he come across as somebody who knows what has happened? What the hell am I witnessing here? It's been 3 weeks. There's not an end here. What the hell? Oh my God, Lucy, I'll read that properly in a minute. That's amazing. I need to see that again. Just do a little like on this. I need to watch this again. Okay.
Or can help solve this mystery.
It's been 3 weeks. There's not really a good end here. Right? If we find her alive and safe and like okay, who would do that's not my wife.
Wanting to find.
What? Sorry, what now? What? If she's found alive and okay, that is not my wife. Oh my God. Hi, UK Sam. He's coming across, Tamzin, I think worse than not bothered. He's coming across as he's acting. He's literally a bad actor. It's like he's playing a part. It's really weird. It's like, if she comes back, does he know that she's been beamed up? I don't know what to say here. Is he a clone? Because it's like the woman, it's like the wife last night, General McCaslan, the wife. She spoke about his neighbours. That's not how you act when your loved one, your soulmate, has gone missing. This is so bizarre. Hi, Gina. Maybe. Hi, Steve. Hi, Leah. Hi, everybody. There's so much here to unpack.
Right? If we find her alive and safe and like okay, who would do that's not my wife.
Wanting to find the woman he made music with. Tessa, to make matters worse, Scuderi says that Lane has a rare lung disease that worsens when it gets cold out. So it's a tough situation all around. As for the car itself, it was found in a very remote part of the Jemez Wilderness, just northwest of the Valles Caldera.
Yeah, he's right. There are some things that are just very bizarre. So what is law enforcement saying at this point? Well,
Sandoval County sheriffs, we're told, are running point on this operation. We called them.
Yeah, exactly. There wasn't any tears. There was no distress. He knows exactly what's happened to her. Now, some initial observations. Were they, a loving married couple? They don't seem to be. When I seen her, I thought she was quite butch and she probably was a lesbian, but she's apparently married to a man. Now, did she want to be with somebody else? Had they been splitting up? I don't know. These are just observations, initial observations. But then, how long ago were they married? Because they look really happy on their wedding day. But if she was into Buddhism and she was distancing herself, and it's the way he said when she goes for 1 or 2 days, I don't worry. That to me says that they're not in a fully committed marriage and they're living separate lives. I don't know. Hi, Susan. Hope you're all well. Yeah, I get the weirdness, Sam, as well. So let's watch the end of this one. But this is so weird.
They did not get back to us, but because Scuderi says that he interviewed with the sheriffs a couple weeks ago, he's anxiously awaiting any updates and are hoping people can give tips to the sheriff's office.
And we know they've raised all this money for a more extensive search, but they are wanting people, obviously, warning against going out there unless you're absolutely prepared, because it can get dangerous, as we've seen far too often in our state. Absolutely. All right, Ryan, we'll hope for some good updates on this story.
So I don't know if there's been any further update on this from this news show, but I'll have a quick look now. So hi everybody, welcome in. How you all doing? I hope you are well. I'm kind of like really weirded out by this, Oh, right, okay. Let me just have a quick glance through. Right, I've got another one here from the same news channel. Okay. Oh my God, is this... I don't know if this is the same person. If it is, let's have a look. She's got a twin. I don't know if this is the same person. Somebody else goes missing in the wilderness. It's got to be the same person, surely. Let's have a listen.
The woman on the right had a feeling she should call her twin sister. Yes, that would be the woman on the left. Since then, no one has seen or heard from that second twin from Albuquerque. And now there is a mystery in the mountains near Jemez Springs. What happened to Ingrid Lane? And can anybody explain what was...
What? This is the same person. I haven't seen this either. I love doing live research nights. I haven't done one for years where I just like literally you give me a name and I just search. I don't do that anymore. I get prepared, but I haven't seen this. This is really bizarre, okay? The same two people, the same news show. She had a twin sister and she rang her. What?
It was 3 weeks ago today. The woman on the right had a feeling she should call her twin sister. Yes, that would be the woman on the left. Since then, no one has seen or heard from that second twin from Albuquerque. And now there is a mystery in the mountains near Jemez Springs. What happened to Ingrid Lane? And can anybody explain what was found in her car?
Those are the questions that motivated her family to drive across the country. And now a mother and daughter are spending the next week in our state looking for answers.
She's much more fashionable than me, so she would buy me stuff, give it to me, and tell me that I needed to wear it.
Kelsey Lane's conversations with her sister might sound familiar.
You know, whenever she'd come to my house, she'd say, "I'm taking that purse back. I regret giving that to you." Or I would come here and be like, "I want that. I think I gave you that by accident."
But going through her closet this time feels
weird. Really weird.
Because her identical twin, Ingrid Lane, was last seen more than 3 weeks ago in a remote part of the Jemez wilderness.
The Monday after she went missing, I felt like I needed to call her and we needed to talk. That certainly haunts me a little bit, like what was happening on that Monday.
Kelsey and her mom, Becky Lane, just arrived to New Mexico from Oregon. They made the drive and planned to use the more than $25,000 from a GoFundMe to find Ingrid. They are hoping for a tip.
Hopefully, I mean, somebody might have just given her a ride.
On October 15th, Ingrid went to the Zen Center in Jemez Springs. That Sunday afternoon, a couple hunters spotted her on a remote forest road with a flat tire. She apparently told them she was determined to hike to a nearby peak. They found her car, and her husband says there's some weird things inside.
One very strange detail is that they found a burner phone in her car, but still in its package, not opened, not activated.
Is that unusual?
That's a shock to me. That was a huge shock to me to find out.
Yeah.
That's huge. Those are huge puzzle pieces that are just unknown.
The rear window of her car was shattered.
She's got a pride flag as well. You know, and again, there's nothing against if she has. I'm not, you know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm just initial, you know, when you see somebody and you don't expect them to be married to a man. And was it a case of she'd been with somebody else, and that because he is very dismissive of her, he doesn't look bothered at all. I get the impression that she has gone off before with somebody else. But even if you were angry, even if you were estranged, you would still be showing emotion. You're just human nature. Bless you. Human nature. Something's so off about this whole thing. But if you notice in these reports, so far, we're just hearing about a woman who's vanished. So she's just a normal civilian. We haven't uncovered anything yet of what she actually was doing.
Shattered. And an out-of-place rock was in the back seat.
That is not
like
a
120
boulder.
pounds.
That is not a boulder, just saying.
So I was like, I don't think she could get that rock through there on her own. So that was weird. That's super weird. And she's not like a violent person.
Cash and electronics were still in the car.
I don't know. I'm perplexed. I feel like those are the things where I go, wait, what happened?
While her family says she was struggling with her mental health and at a career crossroads, her sister says.
The way that she was making plans, even for the next week and for the future, I don't think that she went into the mountains not planning to come back.
Renting a search helicopter, hiring a private investigator, everything is on the table. And while some fear the worst,
If I'm really honest with myself, I don't know if we're going to find anything.
her sister and mom hold on to hope.
Yeah.
Not even the same person. What is this, some sort of joke? It doesn't even look the same
On
person.
the table. And while some fear the worst,
If I'm really honest with myself, I don't know if we're going to find anything.
her sister and mom hold on to hope.
Different person.
Yeah.
Like pimp.
A lieutenant with the Sandoval County Sheriff's Office says this is an active missing persons case and there is no evidence of foul play.
Yes, I'm sure. Okay. Right, let me just shut that down a minute. Right, how are we getting on? I know Peter, he's a ray of sunshine, isn't he? So far, we're just seeing a missing woman, vanished. We're just seeing strange, bizarre, but nothing about what this woman did. And nothing about the reasons why she may have disappeared. So there's quite a few videos been done on this, but I think it's time for me to reveal some of the things about this woman that make her join into this link, this cluster, and then we're going to watch a little bit of Lauren's video. I think it'll be good to watch some of Nancy Grace as well. Right, so I'm just going to grab this up now because this is really, really intriguing. Right. So, the official narrative is just, which is blatantly a lie, which is basically that the official narrative is that a 37-year-old woman on the 15th of October packed up her things after spending the weekend at a silent meditation retreat. Apparently, it wasn't even the weekend, it was a full week. She was supposed to be there. That's what I've been told. And that the centre in New Mexico and in Gemma Springs, the director of the centre said she was an incredibly peaceful frame of mind. She was a Buddhist, remember, calm. She got in the car, planning to head towards Los Alamos. Los Alamos is where the lab is, the jet propulsion lab, where all these people seem to be dying or going missing from. Now, this is where things get really, really weird. She wasn't just a random civilian passing through. She was a heavily credentialed, is that a word? Credentialed neuroscientist and bioengineer. She worked at the Mind Research Network, which sounds very MK Ultra, at the University of New Mexico, dealing with highly advanced neuroimaging. So she was studying the brain. This would be perfect for MK Ultra. She had professional ties to the Sandia National Laboratories. Now, I'm pretty sure that so did General McCasland, but I need to get that confirmed. Right at the time of her disappearance, her inner circle reported she'd just begun a new project at the Los Alamos National Laboratory, where they did all the jet propulsion and where these people have been going missing from. So she just started out. Now, she was working at the same place as Anthony Chavez, who vanished, who literally come out of work one day, went home, got a gun, left his wallet and his keys and his phone as usual, and his smartwatch, walked out of his house with a gun in his hand, disappeared into thin air, never seen him again. And then we had the lady, Melissa Casillas, who was working there as well, as she was working in admin. But did she see something? So she wasn't a scientist, but she was working there. Did she witness something she shouldn't have seen? She vanished. She just went home, said she'd forgotten a key card to her husband, who also worked there, went home, took her daughter a Subway sandwich for lunch, and then was last seen walking along a freeway on a CCTV camera, vanished, never to be seen again. What is going on at this Los Alamos laboratories? Because I think we need to do a deep dive there as well. Now, the physical evidence where the car was found on Forest Road 144. It was a black 2019 Subaru Impreza, and it was found abandoned. And it's a rugged remote mountain pass that cuts directly through the canyon straight into the back door of Los Alamos. But when the police found a car, her rear window was completely shattered, as we know. But how would a boulder, and he just said it looked like the boulder was from their house. This is what doesn't make any sense. So we're going to watch a little bit of Lauren's video. This lady, she's doing such good work on this. Let's get this up now. And then we're going to watch a little bit of Nancy, because I love her. I love the way Nancy Grace says people's full names. She always says the last names as well. But let's just watch a little bit from Lauren.
Let's get back into discussing the UAP files, the missing scientist, and the disclosure community in general. So I have a couple of updates here for you all in terms of, one, the missing scientist. I want to talk about Ingrid Lane for a minute. I also have a new name for you guys that I don't know too much about. And I don't know if you have heard of this person either. And then I want to go into some things that Lou Elizondo has been saying, some things that he told me for a story that I filed on Wednesday. So let's go to Ingrid Lane. Let's go back there. So I did speak with a source that is close with Ingrid and her family. And again, if you don't know who Ingrid is, please go back to my videos, the playlist. It's the UAP, UFO, and bizarre disappearance playlist. You will see everything I reported when it comes to Ingrid Lane. I did a deep dive, but just to give you a little bit of a background here, Ingrid, she is a neuroscientist, and she disappeared in 2023. And at the time of her disappearance, she was working on a project at Los Alamos National Lab. And I did have this confirmed with the source, because I think when I did my original video, and even when I had filed the story on Ingrid, there was some employee list linked out to Los Alamos, but the link wasn't working and the archive link wasn't working either. But I did get confirmation that, yes, she was in fact working at Los Alamos. And so Ingrid, she went on this meditation retreat, and this is New Mexico, and this is about an hour away from where she lives in Albuquerque. And the next morning, she wakes up, she'd just gotten there. She tells the retreat directors that she has to drive back to Albuquerque, and then she's going to go.
Some judder in here. Is it just my end? My signal's okay. Hopefully it's working okay.
Drive to Los Alamos to go hiking, and that doesn't really make sense, because Albuquerque and Los Alamos aren't next to each other at all. They're kind of far from one another.
Yeah,
and
why would you go to a retreat and then disappear in different direction hiking? It makes no sense. It must just be my end.
Got into this retreat where she's supposed to be Zen and meditating, and they're just like, okay, that's weird. And she's like, I'll be back tomorrow.
For you,
so long story short, again, if you want all the details, go watch the video. Ingrid, she ends up going missing as her car is found at the top of this mountain, and there's a boulder through the car, a big boulder, and inside the car are 3 laptops and a burner phone. And reportedly, around the car, her scent was around the car, but it stopped after that, which is so strange, because if you watch this channel, you'll know that I had a video profiler on, Doug McGregor, who had discussed Monica Reza's disappearance possibly being staged because her scent stopped after a hat. It's just too weird. Your scent would continue on.
Monica Reza is the lady who was in the was going hiking with the 2 yoga friends, loosely. They weren't really friends, they were just like part of the yoga group, and she vanished into thin air. They reckon they looked round to wave at her and she was there, and they looked back and she'd gone. So, but yeah, and again, she was in the same region. She would have worked with General McCasland at Los Alamos Laboratories. What the hell are they doing at that place?
Unless somebody placed the hat there, or
And they
somebody
found her
placed.
hat. They found a hat that she was holding on the last photo of her at a random place down like a steep ravine, that she couldn't have even got down. And then when the dogs found the hat and they picked up her scent, the scent stopped with the hat. The scent would have gone different directions. If you drop something and then you carried on walking, or even if someone dragged you off, you'd leave a scent. The dogs picked up no scent. So somebody else has dropped that hat there, is what she's saying. Deep dives Randy. Who's Randy? Randy Quaid.
Ingrid's car there, and then it was on purpose and whatever. So let's just get into Ingrid and some of the things that I learned from this source. So when Ingrid first went missing, the way that it was kind of painted, the narrative here in the publications wrote about it, was that Ingrid was just a mentally ill musician who went missing. And she was a violin player. She was a very talented musician. Now, when it comes to Ingrid's mental illness, I couldn't get a straight answer from this person. And I just said, it's obviously none of my business. I am trying to raise awareness around her disappearance so she can be found, because I do believe that cliche saying, someone knows something, is true. So in terms of this reported mental illness, there had been reports that she was bipolar, but I could not get this confirmed. And I didn't want to run with that, of course. And so this source just said, I can't confirm if she was bipolar. I know that in the past, she had suffered somewhat the months prior to Ingrid's disappearance. And, when Ingrid disappeared, just the time building up to that, she was great. This person said Ingrid was doing great. So I thought that was interesting. And this person said that everybody seemed to think that Ingrid was doing great. Of course, we never really truly know anyone, but I think there's something to be said there. This person also said that when they were searching, there was, boots on the ground, people were searching for Ingrid along with law enforcement, that half of the staff at Los Alamos was helping in the search. So this person said that it really seemed like she had a very strong connection with a lot of her coworkers. This person did not know exactly what Ingrid was working on, but I thought that was interesting. And I think that I should maybe dive into that a little bit more. Having a really great relationship with your coworkers. I'm sure her coworkers obviously know what they were all working on. And I think that a lot of them, or a majority of them, would be able to put a rest to certain conspiracies, if I had to guess. Now, this source also said that law enforcement, they do have Ingrid's DNA, meaning they worked with the family to get hair follicles from her brush, things like that. So they've got Ingrid's DNA ready to go here. There is something odd. I didn't quite understand this, and I think it's because the source didn't understand this either, but mentioned that reading on the Facebook group, Ingrid's mom was a little frustrated that she wasn't in the NamUs database, the government database for missing people. It took a really long time, and I don't really get that either. There's really no reason that it should take that long, especially when you have circumstances.
It took a year for her to go into the missing persons database. That doesn't make any sense at all. It should not take a year. And that was only because people were pushing for it. But again, this woman nothing was on the news reports at the time of what she was doing. She was a neuroscientist and a bioengineer. It's just beggars belief that nobody was talking about this. Why wasn't the husband saying, you know, they're making out, oh, she's got this lung condition, she's got this mental health and all this stuff. And it's like, but why aren't you talking about the stuff that she was doing? It's like there's been, they've said to him, you don't say anything. He looked terrified. It looked like he was acting. Oh, that's amazing news, Lucy. You know, I know you was cooking him chicken and stuff, wasn't you? Oh, that's amazing. There is still some kibble you could try though. That's really good because my boys have cooked chicken, but they also have a bit of kibble. So I'm going to continue with a little bit of this from Lauren. But you see, this isn't the initial deep dive that she did because she's just going to talk about all the stuff that I've already spoken about. But she's been speaking to a source close to the family and she can't reveal her source, which is fair enough. But I want to, when we've watched this, I want to show you a clip from the Nancy Grace show as well, if I can find it, because they speak to an expert as well.
Like Ingrid's, a car.
Don't say that. That penny will disappear one day. I fucking hope not. Oh gosh, don't say that. Lol.
On a mountain with a boulder thrown through it, whatever, burner phone, laptops. I mean, it's just, yeah, they had said, oh, no foul play is indicated. Well, something is going on there. Clearly, if you don't see foul play from a broken window, I mean, I guess it's just because they didn't find any blood. Fine. So yeah, why wasn't she in this database? I don't know. But there is some kind of option, I guess, about adding the DNA to the database. And the source had just kind of said, yeah, I don't think her husband wants to do that. I don't know why. Everybody has their reasons.
Never added her to the missing persons database. It took a year and somebody else did it. What? This is weird. Like this, it's just so bizarre, the whole thing. What's the matter, Georgie? Okay. He doesn't like it when I'm on here. He gets really jealous. Anyway, I'm not going out tomorrow now, so there's a chance you might see me tomorrow. I don't know yet. But I was going to go out tomorrow, but it's been rearranged, so.
Told me to like swab my DNA and send it to ancestry.com, I'd be like, hell no, I don't want the government to have my DNA. So maybe it's that, right? Maybe it's that. However, we are talking about a missing person. And I would think, one would want to do anything they could to find that person. So I don't know. Who knows the reason? Is it weird? You guys can weigh in the comments. The source also said that the lead detective on the case had kind of made a statement saying something like, well, we kind of think like Ingrid just wandered off. I mean, that to me is incredibly lazy. It's just, it just doesn't seem to be that simple. I understand law enforcement. They have a hard job. They are underpaid, overworked. A lot of people go missing. And I can see why they would make some of those statements, but it's just like, with everything we know, especially knowing that her passport and her ID are not with her. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, that was what I wanted to just update you guys on with Ingrid. Yeah. Just, there was one other thing, and I don't really know how to say this. I don't know if I'm going to. So a source had told me, and I looked for this, but I couldn't find it. I think it might be deleted. Something was weird, I think, a few days after Ingrid went missing. And I'm really, really not trying to point any fingers at all because everybody deals with things differently.
Yeah. So this woman is like Lauren, is so much like me. She reminds me of me, the way she goes off on a tangent. And then she's like, because she's not doing this live, she's using StreamYard, but she's recording on StreamYard. And then she's putting it out as a video, which is what I could do. Oh, that's amazing, Lucy, sport boy. So she, it's wandered off. But I think the reason why they're saying that though, Nikki, is because they know they're not allowed to touch it. They know they cannot do anything because they're being told they can't. Do you know what? This is how much they're messing with this channel, right? Apparently, we've been on for an hour. We got 34 people watching for an hour, but it's only got 50 views. Like, I'm not bothered about views, but I also don't like corruption and lies, and I like a level playing field. They really are struggling to cope with this channel. I'm expecting to get shut down any day. Anyway, but listen to what she says now, because she's umming and ahhing whether to say anything. But whoever she's speaking to, I think, in my opinion, she can't reveal it. I think she's speaking to her sister.
Situations, death, grief, I mean, stress, everything.
So
I'm not pointing fingers, but in the hopes of someone knows something, I'll just throw this out there. The source had told me that her husband made some kind of weird Instagram post that just seemed very bizarre, something having to do with cats a few days after she disappeared.
Cats.
And a lot of people thought it was weird. Listen, this is allegedly. I have not seen this post.
Her husband made a weird post a few days after she'd gone missing about cats, and this post was deleted. But the family clearly think that he knows something.
That's why I kind of thought maybe I shouldn't mention it, but the source thought it was so bizarre they wanted to tell me about it. So, maybe it's something, but no, I don't know. But again, if someone knows something, great. And I feel horrible for Ingrid's husband. Are you kidding me? His wife is missing, so I'm not blaming anybody. Okay, so let's quickly also discuss my recent story for Los Angeles Magazine. So this was from Wednesday, and it reads, Lou Elizondo, UFO files contradict NASA's long-standing claims. So I thought this was really interesting. I had met Lou on the Nancy Grace show. I kept in touch with him, and I just think that, he has a lot of fascinating
Lou
information.
Elizondo, who she's talking about now, is the person who was planned to meet Kevin Childress, who is the one that we spoke about last time, if you remember. No, not last time, time before. And he was about to speak to Congress, and then he was found dead. And his wife, apparently long COVID, and his wife said she was perfectly healthy, and literally he was found dead. Made no sense. So that's that one. But I just want to see if I can find the video that Nancy Grace did. I know you follow her as well, don't you, Bridget? You said. I just want to see if I can find the one that she did on Ingrid Lane, because she had that guy on, and it was a really good, really interesting one. I don't think she puts the names in her video titles. She just says, oh, the death tolls rose, but she doesn't say who. So, okay, let me just see if I can find it now. But she does crack me up. Let me see if this is it. Might not be, I don't know. I think this might be the right one. Oh yeah, we haven't even got to that one yet. That's a new one. That's another one we haven't covered yet. There's more. I don't want to talk about that because that's one I want to cover. Okay, here we go. This is the one I want to talk about. So Lauren went on Nancy's channel. Yeah. Oh,
Find that buried amongst all sorts of outlandish theories regarding these missing scientists and dead scientists. Is any of that true? Who is Ingrid Lane? And is it true she has disappeared, but her car is found with a boulder attack?
Yes. So as far as we know, Nancy, she is still alive. She is just missing. Ingrid Lane, she was a beautiful musician. She played the violin, but she was also a neuroscientist and a bioengineer affiliated with the Mind Research Network at the University of New Mexico. Now, this place, the Mind Research Network, it had...
You notice that it's always New Mexico. That's where the Area 51.
Ties to Los Alamos and Sandia National Laboratories. So that is where this very, very striking connection comes in. The way that Ingrid disappeared is so chilling, Nancy. She was actually at a retreat that she was supposed to be on a week-long retreat at a place called the Bodhi Manda Zen Center. And according to reports and friends and family, she was very familiar with this place. She had been going there, I guess, on and off for about 10 years. It was about an hour from where she lived in the Albuquerque area. So she's there for one day. The very next day, she tells people that she's going for a drive. She's got to go back to Albuquerque. She's got to go back to Los Alamos. She wants to hike over there and she'll be back later. Now, this struck a few people as odd because it's like you're going on a Zen retreat, but now you want to drive a bunch of hours, even though you're supposed to be meditating. Now, here's where it gets a little weird. So she's driving along State Route 144 near the San Antonio Mountain and the Valles Caledra National Preserve. She is going up and up and up to the top of this mountain. Now, two people find her because she is having car trouble. And they ask her, do you need some help? And she says, I'm fine. I will fix my car. They said she seemed very determined to get to the top of this mountain. So according to these two people, they walk along and she continues. Now, later, as you mentioned, her car was found after there was an Apple AirTag that police tracked when she was reported missing. Now, there was a large boulder that had shattered near the rear hatch window of her Subaru, and the front showed reportedly major front end collision damage. We don't really have an explanation about that, but 3 laptops found inside that car, Nancy, an unactivated burner phone, and her keys were still in the ignition.
Let me understand. How can a boulder hit the front end and the back end?
Well, we don't know that it was a boulder, right? Like nobody was there. There's no cameras. So this is what is being reported, I'm assuming, based on what law enforcement observed. One thing I want to point out that I thought was a little weird is that she went missing in 2023. She wasn't in the NamUs database until late 2024. I mean, maybe that's a question that, I can't answer. Maybe you can answer. Or Brian, why does that happen? Why did it take so long?
You're stating she was not in what database, Lauren Conlon?
The NamUs database, the government missing persons database.
Guys,
yeah, Luce, everyone here, we've known each other for years. He's just messing with you. That's all. It literally is just playing about. Please don't worry. Honestly, everyone is just joking around in the chat. They don't mean anything by it. Honestly, did you hear that? She calls everybody by their full name. I find that so funny. Lauren Canlon. She does it to every single person who comes on. It's just absolute bonkers. I just find it really funny. So it's really good because we're getting the full story here as well from Lauren. But isn't this weird? Isn't this another bizarre one? I think Lucy must have misread or something. I don't know. But honestly, it's just jokes in the chat. Honestly, if there was anything nasty, I would say, but there really isn't, honestly.
Lauren is saying NAMUS. NamUs is the way it's pronounced, and it is a missing person database, and she was only placed in there how long after she went missing?
About, I want to say more than a year. Yeah.
And again, Lauren Conlon, what was her field of study?
She was a bio engineer and a neuroscientist. She was brilliant, Nancy. I mean, her name, I was just looking this up, her name is connected to multiple reports pertaining to the U.S. Department of Energy. And this is from the Sandia National Laboratory Center for Computing Research. So, you know, you can find a lot about where she worked and what she did online. And I went through this deep dive of Ingrid. I just got so involved. And I found an article that she wrote back in 2012, kind of like an op-ed, where she really was already questioning authority at that point. And she was reportedly fighting for LGBTQ rights at her workplace, which wasn't necessarily.
See? What's that about? This is what I'm saying. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not, and people go, oh, you being anti-phobic or whatever. No, I'm just stating the fact. If you were, she could just be an ally, but maybe that's why the husband is so unhappy, because she's going to leave him. I don't know. But even then, he just didn't seem to give a shit. You'd literally, even if it was a stranger that had gone missing, you'd have a little bit more empathy than that. I would love a body language expert to watch that, because I'm not an expert, but I'm pretty good at reading people. And I can tell you now that was off. Very off.
Going over too well, and this is according to friends. So she was struggling a bit at the time of her disappearance.
Straight out to special guest joining us, Frank Milburn. We are talking about yet another scientist missing or dead. In this case,
this is interesting. I want to show this because Frank Milburn was the friend of Amy Eskridge. Now, Amy Eskridge was the first one we covered. I think we did like the first 2 or maybe 3 shows on Amy. And Frank Milburn is the UK, was a British ex-Special Forces soldier. And he was speaking directly to Amy up until she allegedly shot herself in the head. And she was the one, he was the one that Amy Eskridge sent the text through and the messages through saying, I am not idle. If I'm found dead, I didn't kill myself. Okay. So that is what... that's who this guy is, and he has been focused on mostly Amy, but also bringing justice for all of these other missing or deceased neuroscientists, rocket scientists, NASA, Space Force people. So I want to see what he has to say on this. So we're going to play some more of this.
Ingrid Lane. Do you know what let me introduce Frank Milburn, everyone. Frank, as you may know by now, former British intelligence officer, very dear friend of Amy Eskridge, another brilliant scientist who made it a point to tell Frank repeatedly, if I'm found dead, I did not commit suicide, no matter what anybody tells you. Yet, it's reported that she died of self-inflicted gunshot wound. And I'd like to point out that no official autopsy has ever been released, ever. And we've compiled a list of other scientists found dead with, amazingly, no COD. In fact, one of them is reported dead because he was overweight and must have had a heart attack.
Yeah.
That's not
COD's cause of death. That was the one we covered, not the last one, but the time before, Kevin Patrick Childress. They said he was fat. They literally said he must have had a heart attack because he had COVID. Yet his wife said, who was a medical professional, there was nothing wrong with him. So there's no autopsies on any of these people that have been found dead.
Not cutting it. But Frank Milburn, what I'm hearing about Ingrid Lane is an eerie echo of what is being said about the brilliant scientist, Miss Eskridge. Her father, a brilliant scientist, both of them working in anti-gravity jet propulsion. That said, they're being smeared. You know, all of the comments that have been made about Amy. Well, as to Ingrid, she's being described as a Buddhist musician struggling with her health. She's so much more than that. She is a brilliant scientist. And I see what's happening with these victims. They are being discredited. And it's very hard for me to understand how Ingrid Lane can just disappear from a boulder attack on her car. It's just not computing. Ideal.
Let's not forget that the husband said it looked like it had come from his front garden back when it first happened. 3 weeks after. That is what he said. Now, I haven't seen these original recordings of the when they first went missing on the local news anywhere else other than tonight. So I'm so glad that I found them.
Hard facts. Every case I've ever prosecuted or investigated either rises or falls.
Yeah, so Nancy Grace is a prosecutor. She was a previous trial prosecutor, so she knows her stuff. But look, these are all the ones that are missing or dead so far.
On the facts, not innuendo and speculation
We'll
about
get
the
to it
victim's
next.
private life.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a fundamental problem with these, victims, and I will call them victims, because they are being discredited in this way. And for example, I've continued my investigations, and Amy made allegations of corporate espionage against 2 different organizations and individuals linked to those. And she was both threatened over that from those sources before her death, harassed, discredited, and also since her death, both she and I, there have been efforts made against from those same sources, to discredit her and to discredit myself for trying to push this investigation. So unfortunately, that's a problem, and where you have very, very brilliant people who have these kinds of very strange and suspicious circumstances around them, and you will have people trying to discredit them, and that is to their discredit themselves, not the victims.
Guys, tonight, the toll of missing and or dead space scientists has risen to 16. Now, I want to talk about Ingrid for one moment. This description of her as a Buddhist musician struggling. No, she was also a bioengineer, a neuroscientist with the Mind Research Lab at University of New Mexico, also worked at or with Sandia and other labs, Los Alamos Labs in particular. Her husband, an astrophysicist with the Department of Defense. He builds directed energy weapon software for the Air Force at Kirkland AFB. He has published multiple research papers about Earth-like planets near other stars. But yet, she is being painted as a crackpot. Lauren Conlon, I've been researching Ingrid, as have you, and all of the every description is discrediting her brilliant mind and her advances in science. She's being written off as a crackpot, much like Amy Eskridge. But Amy Eskridge, isn't this true, Frank Milburn, had some of the highest government security clearance that can be had. She was working with Homeland Security and more.
She was also, I can't comment on her clearances because I didn't discuss those with her, whether she had them, whether she didn't, but she was interested in working on some very, very interesting cases and technologies. She was working with Homeland Security, yes. And just the fact that she had a kind of string of people who worked on high-level government UFO programs who were visiting her home, scientists and others. So she was very much in that field.
Brian Fitzgibbons is joining us, and everyone on the panel that hasn't been introduced yet tonight, please jump in when you have a thought. Brian Fitzgibbons is with us, the Director of Operations, USPA Nationwide Security. He leads a team of investigators around the world finding missing people. He is a former Marine and an Iraqi war vet. Brian, here's another tidbit, a fact that just doesn't fall into place with me regarding Ingrid Lane. She went to a Zen center for a few days. Zen center, get it? Zen, chill. Her mind, brilliant, and this was a break for her, but yet suddenly she announced she had to leave by car in her black Subaru. Then it's found on about 11 miles north, I believe, New Mexico 126. Now, here's the thing.
No dent on the
She's
car.
gone. but her car barely survived a boulder attack? How can she vanish near the mountains? How can that happen? Wouldn't cadaver dogs, drones?
It's good they've got him on because he's an expert at finding missing people. So I'm going to watch a little bit more of this before we go.
Someone, something have found her. There's her car. Where is she? She had a burner phone. Why? Why did she suddenly leave her Zen retreat by car?
Oh, Georgie.
Why? Her husband doesn't know why.
George.
Help me out, Fitz, because this isn't fitting together.
Really
and now she's being described, this astrophysicist, as a crackpot.
What triggered that need to leave this retreat center so urgently? And when you add in the totality of the facts surrounding this case, you brought up maybe the most prescient point, Nancy. You and I together have covered so many cases of missing hikers. And a search and rescue effort is very efficient at finding somebody, especially when there are marked trails, known routes, a retreat center nearby. If there was some kind of medical emergency that Ingrid suffered, search and rescue effort would find her relatively quickly. So to add in this burner phone, what appears to be potentially a staging of a secondary crime scene at the vehicle, there are a number of red flags here.
I want to go back to Lauren Conlon. Lauren Conlon, everyone, investigative reporter. You've seen her joining us many, many times on Crime Stories. She is a contributor at LA Magazine and has just written an incredible article about the missing NASA scientist, Monica Bresa. And the reason I want to bring that up is not just because of your article, which is amazing, Lauren Conlon, but Monica's disappearance, in my mind, is eerily similar to some of the other disappearances. Tell me what you learned about Monica.
Yes, well, I was just going to say this, Nancy, between Monica and Ingrid, I'm seeing some similarities that are very chilling. There was a red beanie of Monica's that was found.
This is Monica Reza that was found, disappeared on the mountain with her yoga retreat people. So we've covered her before, but we're just going to let her skim over because there's a lot of similarities and they're in the same region again, New Mexico.
And after this red beanie was found, and again, just for those that don't know, she went missing in June of 2025 when she was hiking in the Mount Waterman area of the Los Angeles Mountains in California. It's 100,000 or hundreds of thousands.
She's the lady that invented 2 new types of metal. This woman was a complete genius. A complete and utter genius. And you've got to remember, we've got all these UFO stuff as well. Like all of this is tying in with the UFO disclosure that's happening right now. We're getting all these files released. We've got the movie Disclosure Day coming up in a couple of weeks' time as well. There's rumours that there's going to be actual real footage in that. Do you know, Stephen Greer said many years ago that when disclosure comes, they will do it and they will get Steven Spielberg to do it. And guess what? Who's directing the new movie? Steven Spielberg. This has all been written, all of it. And I'm hearing rumours that President Trump has already got the speech ready to go. I said it was going to come in 2027. Looks like it's coming a year early. But were these people gonna speak up too soon before they wanted to do this? Because Kevin Childress was about to go to Congress. He was about to give all the information on what they know. All these UFOs that we keep seeing and probably technology that we don't even know about yet. I put a video on earlier. We'll watch it at the end. It's so weird, but I'll put it on at the end if you haven't seen it. Which just doesn't make any sense. Oh, Heather O'Rourke,
acres, its entire area. But her area, we do know her last known coordinates, which is where law enforcement and family and friends have been searching for the last year. So she left, that red beanie that you saw on that photo, that was found. Now,
right
Monica's scent stopped after that beanie was found. That is very concerning. If she were to keep going on, let's say she got lost, right? Why would her scent stop there? Same with Ingrid. Reportedly, there was forensic evidence indicating that Ingrid had been outside or near her vehicle, but there was no trace showing where she went after. search dogs reportedly found no scent trail leading away from the scene. That to me makes no sense.
So the dogs have picked up a scent when they found her car with no dent on the roof and just a big rock in the smashed the back window. She hasn't gone off in any direction. She hasn't. So she's got out of the car. They know that she's got out of the car because the dogs have got the scent outside of the car. But she hasn't been. There's no direction. So there's only two possibilities there. She's gone up, or she's been carried. There's no other explanation. There's just no other. But even if she'd been carried, the dogs would have still picked up a scent, surely. Even if she'd been carried away. Unless a car parked right next to her and they carried her from her car and put her in their car and then drove away, I suppose that could explain why there's no scent. Or she's been beamed up. Because at this point, anything's possible. It's so crazy.
And I have to wonder, without being a conspiracy theorist, were these staged somehow? And with Monica, I have spoken to close family members who are desperate to find their sister, their mother, their cousin. Monica is a widow. They wanted everyone to know that she was not working for any type of foreign government, any foreign intelligence. She was studying yoga with a specialty in Vedic sciences. And she had done this for about 30 years, and she was working for NASA JPL at the time. One last thing I want to say about Monica, Nancy, is the fact that she had an iPhone 8, which meant that her cell phone was not going to ping anywhere unless she was at a proper place in the mountain for it to work. If she would have had an iPhone 12, it could have pinged. But this is one of the most baffling things ever, again, because she was with two people, two companions, and they both seem to have a very specific story. And as far as I know, Nancy, no one else can put Monica on the mountain that day except for these two people. I have not spoken to them personally. I have reached out to one of them, but I have a lot of questions.
Lauren Conlon, isn't it true that Monica Jacinta Reza got her
the
funding
only people that ever seen that can say that she was on that mountain that day won't speak. You hear Gizmo playing
AFRL, Air Force Research Lab, and she worked closely with, and her funding was approved by William Neal McCasland, who walked away from his home with none of his ID.
That's who we spoke about last night. He's the one who was the boss of Monica Reza. He funded it all.
Without his phone, without anything on him to identify who he was, except an Air Force sweatshirt, which was found discarded about 2 miles away. McCasland oversaw Monica Jacinta Reza's projects and okayed the funding for her. Isn't that true?
They did overlap, and I've reached out to these places like Wright-Patterson, the Air Force Research Lab, and I think I mentioned this to you. It's very difficult to get confirmation of what people did exactly and the years that they worked there. So I'm going off of LinkedIn for these two in general. But yes, Monica Reza, she co-patented these high-strength metal alloys, burn-resistant alloys, and General McCasland was at the very top. So this to me, like, they are the center of all of this. I really believe they are. And one other thing that's so concerning about Monica Reza, when I spoke to her family last week, no one from the FBI or the White House had reached out to her. And I know that doesn't mean they're not looking into this. I know that maybe family doesn't know exactly what she was working on. I just thought that was very strange in terms of profiling.
She was working on a particular alloy to be used on rockets and other aircraft that was resistant to high degrees of heat. And the name is Mondelloy. She was perfecting the use of Mondelloy on rocket ships and other craft.
Apparently, I'm going to skip to anything about Ingrid now because we've already covered this, but apparently China had already invented something like that. and America were buying theirs from China. And now once she discovered that, America would no longer have a need to buy it from China. But I just want to get back onto Ingrid. I just want to get onto Ingrid a moment here.
Just today, using scent dogs. This is through thick brush, wetlands. It's amazing what these dogs can do.
Summertime expenses stacking up fast.
Got an ad there, don't it?
They took canine teams out there, scent trackers. They tracked the scent to the beanie, and there was no scent trail leading away from the beanie.
Right, this is the guy I was just talking to you about. So this guy now,
The heart attack. Why?
he's
Another
the
can of
one
worms.
that said that he was going to have a meeting with this guy, Kevin Childress, who we've already covered. But I want to focus on Ingrid Lane. Yeah, we'll hear what he has
The
to
heart
say.
attack. Why no autopsy? Said no official CODs. That's a whole nother can of worms. But I want to get back to Kevin Childress. Joining me now is Lou Elizondo, former U.S. Army Counterintelligence Special Agent, former employee, Office Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence, former Director, Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, and UFO whistleblower.
I think he's going to end up on this list, guys. Who do you? He reckons he's safe because he's come out so publicly. Otherwise, he would have been a goner by now. But he's the one that was supposed to have met Kevin Childress. But let's have a quick listen, then we'll finish with Ingrid.
Wow. Mr. Elizondo, I want to thank you for being with us tonight. You have refused in the past to give me the name Kevin Childress, but I found it elsewhere. Kevin Childress, and correct me if I am wrong, was set to have a meeting describing very, very sensitive scientific information. He was going to Congress and talking about what was in the UAP files.
Boy, my mouth.
And then suddenly he's found dead on a sofa. And there was never an autopsy. What can you tell me about Kevin Childress other than he was brilliant? That much I already know.
Sure. Well, Nancy, thank you very much for having me. It's certainly an honor and privilege. You're absolutely correct. Kevin Childress was a senior special agent with the Department of Energy. And as you continue to look at some of these other cases, there are definitely ties. When you're talking about a national laboratory, there are always ties with the Department of Energy. And so in this particular case, Special Agent Kevin Childress was the special agent in charge. He was there at headquarters at the Department of Energy. And he had reached out to me. This is right after I left the Pentagon. And he was very concerned. He said, look, the Department of Energy has a significant role in the UAP business. And I'm pretty upset by what I have access to. And now that I've raised it through my chain of command, I feel that the Department of Energy is trying to keep me quiet. So I'm worried about that. But there's...
Well, I'm going to move on to Ingrid because I want to focus on Ingrid. But this is the guy who was talking about... He was talking to Kevin Childress, who was found dead on his sofa. Not the last show, but the show before. Now, he's going to talk about... Hang on. I'm getting on to Ingrid now. Okay, I want to keep this on topic mostly.
Was the scientist, female scientist, who went up and wound up disappearing. And if you take a look at this photo, yeah, let's take a look at this photo, for example, just for a moment. What I find very interesting as a former special agent myself is that if a boulder hit this, I don't see any real damage to the top of the vehicle. What I see is damage into the back of the window as if someone tried to do some sort of smash and grab, and maybe some minor damage below that on the trunk area. But what I don't see is anything that looks like a large boulder had come raining down from...
It looks like a car has been rammed. Because if you look here, I don't know if that's dirt there, but that to me doesn't look like dirt. That looks like the paint's come off. And you've got a dent here. It looks like another car has rammed this car from behind. They've put the window through, got in, dragged her out, found a random rock and lobbed it in and took her. That would explain why there's no dent on the roof. That would explain why the dogs have got no scent. That is what I think has happened. But how the local sheriff department can say that there's nothing suspicious about this is unbelievable. It's literally unbelievable.
A cliff and smashed the back part of the vehicle there. And now maybe they were able to recover a rock or something, but that really does not look consistent to me as a giant boulder coming down from a hill and smashing the vehicle. One would expect to have much, much more damage to that vehicle if that was a case.
That is an incredible observation. It's right under our noses, but we didn't see it. That's why you are the former U.S. Army counterintelligence special agent. I want to defend Matthew Sullivan because I feel that he, along with Amy Eskridge, along with Ingrid and others, is being painted in a, let me just say, a bad light. Matthew Sullivan earned a broad...
Oh my God, there's so many now. I don't think we have. I don't want to cover anyone that we haven't covered yet. I want to keep this on topic. So there's another two that I want to cover.
You're conveying. Was this person going to be another whistleblower potentially? Was this person having a conversation already, perhaps with somebody in our government, or perhaps maybe even a journalist, right? We simply don't know. But the fact that the person was never found, the car is in the condition that it's in, they were found with a burner phone. These are all things to me that raise my eyebrow, and I'm hopeful that the FBI will continue to track this down. I think there's enough information there. Look, there's enough. If somebody wants to disappear today's day and age, it's very difficult. There's something we call digital exhaust. And anytime you log on to anything, whether it's an email account or a bank account or hospital records, you leave a little bit of electronic exhaust in your wake. And that can be found. Trained professionals within the U.S. Marshal Service, within FBI, they know how to track down individuals. So the fact that a lot of these people remain missing, for me, is even greater concern. Because it's as if they just disappeared. There's no evidence. There's no trace left behind, other than stuff that is, quite frankly, rather suspicious. So I think we have a right to ask the questions that we're asking, and it may turn out that this list that you are compiling may be considerably larger, and I hope that's not the case, but it is quite possible.
Is anybody else having major buffering? Because I can't even see the stream on my phone, and we've just lost like 10 viewers. Has anybody else got an issue with this? Is it all gone, Mamo? Hold on.
That this is just the tip of the iceberg. And if that's the case, then, we're going to have a much more difficult conversation amongst ourselves.
Speaking of the burner phone, Lou, it is reminiscent of the missing mom, Melissa Cassius, who takes her daughter a Subway sandwich for lunch, then disappears. She left on foot, no cell phone, no wallet, no purse, no keys. But when her items were searched, the cell phone, personal and work phone, had both been factory reset before she went on a walk. Interesting. She worked with Chavez at Los Alamos. Chavez also missing. Now we have Ingrid Lane turning up, missing with a burner phone, her car disabled by a boulder attack, which, based on your observations, clearly did not happen. If you know or think you know anything regarding our missing and dead, no medical examiner report for COD, please dial toll-free 800-CALL-FBI. That's 800-225-5324. We remember American hero, Officer Don Keller, Greenwood PD, South Carolina. At 31, killed in the line of duty after just 3 years on the force, leaving behind his wife.
All right, so there you go. There you go, folks. Ingrid Lane. We can add her to our list. It's just... I don't know what to say, really. Add another one to the list. I don't think we've spoken about the one, I can't remember his name, whose Tesla blew up and left him. Have we spoken about that one? Who was left completely unrecognisable? And maybe we have. And they had to... And he's left in the car. Let me know, guys. And if we've spoken about Matthew Sullivan, I feel like we've done Matthew. Let me see if there's any more we need to do. I feel like there is. Because what I want to do is, once we've finished them all, I want to map out the clusters and connect some dots. Because Ohio and Wright-Patterson seems to be a little group there. We've got Los Alamos in New Mexico. There seems to be a little group there. There seems to be connections. So once we have covered all of the current missing or deceased, we can go and look for clusters. There is also, this isn't a new thing either. They've been doing this for decades, murdering scientists. China has just had a load killed, allegedly. Yeah. Do you know what, though, Bridget? I feel like it's too public now. I don't believe they've been doing this for so long, and they've been getting away with it for so long that they didn't count on the social media and people like us who don't let go and want to know what's going on. Because you imagine if Dr. David Kelly, for example, turned up dead now in 2026. Do you really think that it wouldn't be investigated to death? There wouldn't be people there, going around with cameras and all this stuff. You would 1,000,000%. They wouldn't get away with it. And I think that they've been killing these people or making them disappear for so long that they've got used to having a free reign. I don't think they're going to keep doing this now. I don't know. The most recent one that I know of is General William McCasland. Let me just have a think. Was there another one in March? 1,000,000%. And now he was a scientist as well. There's been others. There's been others in the past before this current grouping. So let me see if there's any more. I feel like there is, but Ingrid Lane was one that I wanted to cover tonight. I'll be on for an hour and a half. It's so late, so I hope you've enjoyed the stream. I'll be back soon. Don't know when. Monday, Tuesday, something like that. I think I'm out Tuesday. I've got a busy week next week, but I'll try and jump on next week. We do need to go through all of the newly released UAP videos as well before the next one comes out. So I think it's about an hour long. So we'll play them all and we'll just go through them all and we'll just discuss. So we'll cover that as well. But yeah, before we go, I just remembered. I just want to show the video in case you've missed my video from today that I put on earlier. I was going to give commentary on it, and I thought, you know what? I don't need to. I'm just going to put it up and then let people make up their own minds. But so this has got nothing to do with tonight as such, but has it? Because it's disclosure here, Right. Just get this ready. So if you haven't watched this video, let's just watch this together before we go. I am starting to think that all of this is related, the whole thing. Okay, this is really weird, guys. We'll go full screen on this. So there's no audio apart from there was a bit of background dog barking noise. Look at that, which I turned down quite a lot. This was a few days ago. Philippines. Now watch this. Watch this little ball. What is that? That comes floating out. We had an erupting. This is live. This is a webcam. This is live footage of a volcano erupting in the Philippines. Right, live footage on a webcam. And I'll zoom in now. Watch, and a meteorite strikes it, a green one, and this thing, it looks like a jellyfish, comes out of it. So I zoomed right in. Look, what the hell is that? Now, apparently, according to NASA, that was not part of any recent meteor showers that were due to hit. So what the hell was it then? What do you guys think of that then? Hi, Ian. Oh, you got an advert. Hang on. You just skip them if you want. You don't have to watch them. I tried to do it balanced. Right, we'll play this again. Let me just put it on full screen again. Hold on. Why isn't it playing? Right, let me just put it on full screen. Or has it gone to it? Okay. Not too bad. Still suffering with this tooth. See, this is just a webcam. 25th of May. Did you see that? Look at that. What are the chances of a meteor striking like that, glowing green? What are the chances of a meteor striking on a webcam? What are the chances of a meteor striking a volcano, first of all? And then you get this. Now, the official narrative, they're trying to push that this, I kid you not, is a reflection of a satellite. I kid you not. Can you imagine that the people were watching the webcams, watching the volcano erupting, seeing that happen? Whatever that meteorite was, there was something in it, and that's it. These are these weird things that I keep seeing. I've filmed them many times. Many of you have filmed them and seen them. We don't know what they are. Why isn't this news? This is news in America, and it's news around the world, but there's no one covering it in the UK. They just don't talk about it, ever. So there you go. Yeah. And also, it came out of the meteor. Not the meteorite, the meteor, sorry. It came out of the meteor. Thank you. I'm gonna have to go back. I've finished my antibiotics now. I'm starting to feel really rotten again. So I don't know what's going on. It's just so bizarre. But it's very late now. It's 11:30, so I'm going to say goodnight. But I will see you all very, very soon. I'll probably be having a day off tomorrow because I've got quite a lot to do tomorrow around the house. But I'll be back soon. Yeah, if you want to go and watch that video, I think did I just link it? It does help as well if you watch my videos, even if it's just a little bit. It just helps the channel, you know. Try and reach more people. Can I come on to voice chat? ASAP. Not really, but I'll have a look when I've finished. Right then, guys, you take care, and I will see you all very, very soon. Good night. God bless. Bye. Don't forget to hit the like. Bye.